This video is for educational purposes. The Bronx is a borough of New York City, coextensive with Bronx County, in the U.S. state of New York. It is south of Westchester County, north and east of the New York City borough of Manhattan, across the Harlem River, and north of the New York City borough of Queens, across the East River. The Bronx is the only New York City borough not primarily located on an island. The Bronx has a land area of 42 square miles, 109 square kilometers, and a population of 1,472,654 in the 2020 census. If each borough were ranked as a city, the Bronx would rank as the 9th most populous in the U.S. Of the 5 boroughs, it has the 4th largest area, 4th highest population, and 3rd highest population density. The population density of the Bronx was 32,718.7 inhabitants per square mile, 632.8/km2 in 2022, the 3rd highest population density of any county in the United States, behind Manhattan and Brooklyn. With a population that is 54.8% Hispanic as of 2020, it is the only majority Hispanic county in the northeastern United States and the 4th most populous nationwide. The Bronx is divided by the Bronx River into a hillier section in the west and a flatter eastern section. East and West Street names are divided by Jerome Avenue. The West Bronx was annexed to New York City in 1874, and the areas east of the Bronx River in 1895. Bronx County was separated from New York County, modern-day Manhattan, in 1914. About a quarter of the Bronx's area is open space, including Woodlawn Cemetery, Van Cortlandt Park, Pelham Bay Park, the New York Botanical Garden, and the Bronx Zoo in the borough's north and center. The Thane family forest at the New York Botanical Garden is thousands of years old and is New York City's largest remaining tract of the original forest that once covered the city. These open spaces are primarily on land reserved in the late 19th century, as urban development progressed north and east from Manhattan. Subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. The word Bronxe originated with Swedish-born, or Faroese-born, Jonas Bronk, who established the first European settlement in the area as part of the New Netherland colony in 1639. European settlers displaced the native Lenape after 1643. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the Bronx received many immigrant and migrant groups as it was transformed into an urban community, first from European countries, particularly Ireland, Germany, Italy, and Eastern Europe, and later from the Caribbean region, particularly Puerto Rico, Trinidad, Haiti, Guyana, Jamaica, Barbados, and the Dominican Republic, and immigrants from West Africa, particularly from Ghana and Nigeria, African American migrants from the southern United States, Panamanians, Hondurans, and South Asians. The Bronx contains the poorest congressional district in the United States, New York's 15th. There are, however, some upper-income, as well as middle-income neighborhoods such as Riverdale, Fieldston, Spuyten Duyvil, Schuylerville, Pelham Bay, Pelham Gardens, Morris Park, and Country Club. Parts of the Bronx saw a steep decline in population, livable housing, and quality of life starting from the mid to late 1960s, continuing throughout the 1970s and into the 1980s, ultimately culminating in a wave of arson in the late 1970s, a period when hip-hop music evolved. The South Bronx, in particular, experienced severe urban decay. The borough began experiencing new population growth starting in the late 1990s and continuing to the present day. The Bronx was called Renanchqua by the native Siwanoy band of Lenape, also known historically as the Delawares, while other Native Americans knew the Bronx as Keskskek. It was divided by the Aquahung River, now known in English as the Bronx River. The Bronx was named after Jonas Bronk, circa 1600 to 1643, a European settler whose precise origins are disputed. Documents indicate he was a Swedish-born immigrant from Komstad, Norrljunga Parish, in Småland, Sweden, who arrived in New Netherland during the spring of 1639. Bronk became the first recorded European settler in the present-day Bronx and built a farm, named Guillemeus, close to what today is the corner of Willis Avenue and 132nd Street in Mott Haven. He leased land from the Dutch West India Company on the neck of the mainland immediately north of the Dutch settlement of New Harlem, on Manhattan Island, and bought additional tracts from the local tribes. He eventually accumulated 500 acres, 200 hectares, between the Harlem River and the Aquaham, which became known as Bronx River or the Bronx River A. Dutch and English settlers referred to the area as Bronx land. The American poet William Bronx was a descendant of Peter Bronx, either Jonas Bronx's son or his younger brother, but most probably a nephew or cousin, as there was an age difference of 16 years. Much work on the Swedish claim has been undertaken by Brian G. Anderson, former commissioner of New York City's Department of Records, who helped organize a 375th anniversary celebration in Bronx hometown in 2014. The Bronx is referred to with a definite article as either the Bronx G or the Bronx E, both legally and colloquially. The County of the Bronx also takes the G immediately before Bronx in formal references, like the coextensive borough of the Bronx. The United States Postal Service uses Bronx, New York for mailing addresses. The region was apparently named after the Bronx River and first appeared in the Annex District of the Bronx, created in 1874 out of part of Westchester County. It was continued in the borough of the Bronx, created in 1898, which included a larger annexation from Westchester County in 1895. The use of the definite article is attributed to the style of referring to rivers. A time-worn story, purportedly explaining the use of the definite article in the borough's name, says it stems from the phrase visiting the Bronx, referring to the settler's family. The capitalization of the borough's name is sometimes disputed. Generally, the definite article is lowercase in place names, the Bronx, except in some official references. The definite article is capitalized, the Bronx, at the beginning of a sentence or in any other situation when a normally lowercase word would be capitalized. However, some people and groups refer to the borough with a capital letter at all times, such as Bronx Borough historian Lloyd Alton, the Bronx County Historical Society, and the Bronx-based organization Great and Glorious Grand Army of the Bronx, arguing the definite article is part of the proper name. In particular, the Great and Glorious Grand Army of the Bronx is leading efforts to make the city refer to the borough with an uppercase definite article in all uses, comparing the lowercase article in the Bronx's name to not capitalizing the S in Staten Island. European colonization of the Bronx began in 1639. The Bronx was originally part of Westchester County, but it was ceded to New York County in two major parts, West Bronx, 1874, and East Bronx, 1895, before it became Bronx County. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. See you in the next video.